HOB families and friends. Hola a las familias y amigos de HOB. My name is Mr. Bentley, Cape Proud Principal of H.O.Brittingham, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about our school safety plans. In Spanish, hola, me llamo Señor Bentley y estoy aquí hoy para hablar con ustedes sobre la seguridad de nuestra escuela. We're going to talk a little bit about ways that we plan to keep you safe this year at HOB, because all of your teachers are so excited to have you back and welcome our new kindergartners too, that we want to make sure that this is our best year yet. So we're going to talk about 3 things today. 3 ways that we plan to keep our families and our community safe. The first is about mask coverings. So everybody in our building, when we are less than 6 feet away from each other, we're going to wear our masks and we're going to put them right around our face, so that way we are thinking win-win, and we can also be proactive to keep ourselves safe and others around us. We are also going to be spending a lot of time working with you on hand washing, because if you know Nurse B, she'll tell you that washing your hands is one of the best ways to stay safe. Also, we're going to talk about social distancing and what that means. So we are going to be wearing our masks or face coverings when we are less than 6 feet away. And if we're about 3 feet away, we're going to make sure we have those masks on. But don't worry, you're going to hear a lot about these plans in the upcoming weeks. And actually, what I'd like to do right now is take you to talk to Nurse B. If you have been at HOB before, you know how wonderful she is. And if you're new to our school, you're going to realize that she is such a helpful and caring person and one of the best school nurses I know. But before I leave my office and head over to Nurse B, I want to make sure that I put my face covering on so I can keep everybody safe. All right, we'll see you in a minute. All right, everybody, we are here with our very own Nurse B, and she has some very important information to share with everybody so that we can keep our family, our HOB family, nice and safe this year. I'm going to turn it over to her now.
Hey all, so I'm not in my nurse garb, and this year when we start school, we'll be seeing you outside of this office. This is my office right here, so when you see me out here, I'll have my uniform on, I will have on some gloves, I will also have on this cover up so that I can keep you all clean and safe from me. You may also see me with a face shield on, so it's going to look kind of like a space suit kind of covering. And there we go. So once I see you, and I ask you to come into my office, so come on in, we'll take a look. We're using all kinds of different things this year because of COVID, so we have to all wear masks. They get annoying sometimes, but we get kind of used to them. So that explains all the extra things I have. My office still looks the same. You come in, and if there's anything I can do to help you out, I have my thermometer and all kinds of stuff to fix you up. If you need to lie down for some reason that's very serious, you would be laying down right here for a little bit. There's a bathroom and all in here. You would need your teacher's permission to come see me, and I'll be happy to take care of whatever it is you think you may need.
All right, thank you so much, Nurse B. We can't wait to see all of our students back here. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed that message from Nurse B. And next up, we have our very own Mr. Gladfelter, who's going to be talking to our friends and families about some of the additional safety precautions that we are going to take here at HOB. Hope you enjoy Mr. Gladfelter's message, and we can't wait to have you back here on September 16th.
This is information for Cape Henlopen families related to COVID-19. All members of the Cape Henlopen School District community must work together to create an environment that is as safe as possible for everyone. So, what should your family do? First, educate yourself about the safety measures being put into place in our schools, and take the time to explore the resources in this presentation, and then be sure to abide by the new protocols put into place. So, There are some community testing sites that have taken place in the past, and we strongly recommend, if you have the opportunity to be tested before coming to school, that would be great to know before you go to school. Secondly, we want you to monitor the symptoms by completing a daily self-screening tool. That is mandatory for all families each day. And also we want you to wear facial coverings. That's masks that cover your nose and mouth. They'll be mandatory. And then we're going to talk about hand washing and social distancing. So, in the past, there have been some community testing events. Thanks to all of you that attended. On August 26th, it was at Beacon Middle School. We had another one August 27th at Mariner Middle School. Any upcoming events, we will keep you posted. But please know that Walgreens also offers a no-cost COVID-19 testing. And at the time being, it's at the Bridgeville location, so please be aware of that. There's a self-screening tool that we want you to utilize each day, and it looks like this. When you look at this, if you answer yes to any of these questions below, you are not to report to school that day. So here it is. It says, in the past 14 days, have you been near, within 6 feet for at least 15 minutes, a person who has a lab-confirmed case of COVID-19, or in the last 48 hours, have you had any of these symptoms? And if you read down here through these symptoms from a fever of 100.4 or above, as well as these, if you have any of those symptoms, we ask that you not come to school that day and instead contact the school to make them aware and also contact your health care provider. Another thing we're asking is that everyone wear a mask to school. They're also called facial coverings. All students will be required to wear a facial covering to school each day, and this is mandatory, and the covering must cover your nose and mouth. It should be cloth-based and be at least 2 layers of cloth back to back, and they may be disposable or washable. We prefer that each student bring their own mask to school. However, there are some disposable masks that will be provided as needed. Now, we're requiring face masks of all students age 3 and up, and students age birth to 2 will not be asked to wear a face covering. In addition, neck gaiters and bandanas will not be acceptable. Oftentimes, these coverings are too thin and they don't meet the 2-ply requirement that we have. How to wear your face covering. So first, wash your hands before putting on your face covering. Put it over your nose and mouth and secure it under your chin, and try to fit it snugly against the sides of your face. And the reason you wear a face covering is in public settings and when around people who don't live in your household. We ask that you do this to prevent the spread of germs. And don't put the covering around your neck or up on your forehead, and don't touch the face covering. And if you do, please clean your hands. How to care for your face covering. Please take off your face covering carefully when you're at home and you untie the strings or pull them off behind your head and stretch the ear loops. Handle only the ear loops or ties, and then fold the outside corners together. Place the covering in a washing machine and wash your hands with soap and water. There's additional information on the cdc.gov/coronavirus site. Also, hand hygiene will be important in our schools, so frequent hand washing is going to be important, and it should be promoted before and after touching any shared equipment. And we're also going to be asking the students to avoid touching their face, mouth, eyes, and nose with their unwashed hands. And you may have some questions of such as, what happens if my child exhibits symptoms while at school? Well, the nurse will evaluate each student as that happens. If deemed a potential COVID case, the nurse will contact the family for prompt pickup. And we're going to be talking about prompt pickup notices on the next slide. And then it may be recommended that the student get tested, and the student will not be permitted to return to school until cleared by a doctor. So there's something called a prompt pickup note. This is to make sure when a student gets sent home for having symptoms of COVID, that a family will come immediately within 1 hour. We don't want the students staying in the school long, and they're not going to be permitted to ride the buses home. so they must come. So it's important that each family have up-to-date phone numbers and email addresses on file with the school nurse so that they can be contacted in a very prompt manner. Please provide any additional emergency contacts to avoid delays. So make sure that you take care of this so we can take care of these incidents as they occur. And other potential scenarios, there are processes in place in all of our buildings to address these issues on a case-by-case basis. So if you have questions such as these, if your child tests positive or someone in your house has tests positive, we have thought through all of these scenarios, and we have a process that we will go through, and we will help you if this happens with your family. One thing about temperature screening at this time, the CDC currently does not recommend universally screening students at school because screening may fail to identify a student who has a COVID-19 infection and may overly identify students with different common childhood illnesses. So families are asked to take the temperature at home, monitor your own child's temperature each day. And we have procedures in place to respond rapidly to any students or staff who has a fever at school, regardless of the implementation of temperature checks or symptom screening prior to entering the school building. So thanks for participating in this information session. If we all do our part, we can contribute to a safer educational environment for all. Thanks for supporting our district in these efforts.